I'm Jen West, professional rebel of delight.
And I'm Dave Wiesdock, sage of creative scaffolding.
And this is shadow casting. Hey, Dave, it's quote day again. And I think I've got a good one that's going to help us grow into our new energy. You ready?
I can't wait to hear it.
All right. This one is from Sally Brompton, and it's life is a process of growing and outgrowing. And what fits snugly today, be it an idea, attitude, or belief, may be entirely wrong size tomorrow.
Wow, what a great quote.
I know. It makes me, I love that she's like fits snugly because it makes me think of clothes. Although if I'm outgrowing my clothes, maybe I'm not happy with what I'm becoming.
Well, that's true. I don't know. I love that word snugly too. It's like very like comforting and makes me think of like warm fuzzy socks or something.
Right. And the growing and outgrowing makes me think of, kid energy, which, they're always outgrowing their clothes. And so they've got these clothes and they're their favorite outfits. And then the next thing they know, it's tight on their arms and their bellies are showing. And
yeah, I think this really plays to the idea that we are dynamic beings. So just like in the quote, what fits snugly, what's those warm, comfy socks today might not be the warm, comfy socks tomorrow. And I liked your example as a kid because there's that innocence and openness to play and possibilities. And I think we've hit that quite a bit in our podcast, where play is where the change really happens. And so looking at this quote, kind of not growing like, we're growing out of our clothes because we're putting on a couple extra pounds, but because we're growing like kids, we're stepping into bigger aspects of who we are. And as we do that, things shift for us, our attitudes, our beliefs, our behaviors. And as those things shift, what was in the past is uncomfortable, because the more space we hold, the more awareness we gain. And by having that increase in awareness, sometimes we have to change the beliefs we had in order to move forward.
Yeah. And on a more uncomfortable note, because when we think about kids outgrowing their clothes, that's okay. It's fine. Unless it's their favorite Star Wars t-shirt or something. They're fine moving on to new clothes and they get cool new stuff. But sometimes we grow as individuals and we outgrow our friend group, or we outgrow our work environment, and those things start to fall away, or the relationships start to get destroyed or disintegrate. And it's so uncomfortable that sometimes we keep ourselves in that outfit that's just way too tight and uncomfortable because we don't want to lose those people.
And it's about holding on to the stories, like you were saying. Sometimes we hold on to beliefs or attitudes about things because we're attached to the story. Going to your example, like a job. Sometimes people stick with a job long after they've outgrown it because of the relationships that they've built there, the experiences they've had, the memories, the stories. And that's where kind of that uncomfortable growth has to happen, getting into that growth zone like we've talked about, where we have to outgrow. Let me take that a step back. We don't have to outgrow. It's just becoming. I think that's what I'm trying to get at, is the more we become this higher version of ourselves, the more that we become aware and realize that those clothes don't fit, we have to let go of the attachment in the story.
I think this has so many levels. There's something that fits snugly, but it's comfortable and it's warm and it's known, but your ideas have moved beyond that, or your beliefs have moved beyond that. So it's just not quite right anymore. And we have this, going back to certainty, it's safe, it's certain, we get it. And our growth and our becoming and our really living into our life requires us to let some of those things go so that we can get bigger and move into some new energy and get new clothes. New clothes are fun, especially when they become like comfy and warm too.
Absolutely. Or you get that new favorite hat or hoodie or those new pair of shoes that you just can't wait to break in. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think the question for our listener audience as they step into this, what do you have in your life that's kind of fitting a little snug that you maybe need to move on from or grow out of or take off and replace with something new, whether it be an idea that's starting to form inside of you and your old ideas just aren't holding anymore? It's okay to let those go and see where the new one takes you.
Yeah, I love that question. And to stick with that, the whole analogy we've been going with is like there's growing pains with that, right? It might just fit just a little bit too tight. It's snug, but maybe it's just starting to get a little bit constricting. And I think the way that shows up to kind of add some texture is it's when you hear that little voice, the belief, and it's all of a sudden you start having this different thought that you weren't having before. And I don't know.
Playing with our own growth, and do we stagnate ourselves so that we can stay in something that's comfortable, where we make ourselves small again so those clothes fit, so that those ideas fit? Or do we just realize that it's no longer right for us and we move on, whether that be a friendship that's they've gone separate ways? It's not always bad. Just one person grew one way, another person grew another way. Or you've outgrown your job and it's time to expand and really live life. It's really, do we stay small or do we allow ourselves to live fully?
Yeah. I really like how you're phrasing that, Jen. I don't think that I can add anything that would be of value. So I'm really curious to hear what our audience has to say about this and how this shows up for them.
Yeah. What comes up for you, our listener audience?
Okay. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the podcast wherever you're listening from. And thanks for listening.
Until next time.
See ya.